welcome to episode 3 of gamingti. Got some interesting stuff to talk about this week. We won't worry about the introduction too much. This is episode 3. That's all you need to know. I'm Imani,
I'm Tristan.
and let's dive in.
We're gonna start off with some PC gaming news.
Yeah, so we have there's some Black Fridays coming up. We have some deals. Some deals started early. Some big deals coming out. If you want to pick up something like Grand Theft Auto 5, right now it's $15 on Steam. Um, Elder Scrolls Online, $10 on Steam. Uh, we have some of the classic Call of Duties, Call of Duty, the original, Call of Duty 2, $8 each. If you want to pick up Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, we're talking about back in the days. You could get that $8.99 on Steam as well. There are a few games here and there that it might be pretty cool. Like I know Neo, NIOH. I heard a lot of good things about that. That's also on sale right now for $17.49 again on Steam. Injustice 2. I wouldn't say it's the newest game. It's been around for a little bit, but hey, if you haven't picked up the Mortal Kombat of the superhero world, Injustice 2, $23.99 on Steam. Mortal Kombat 11, that's pretty new, $35.99 Steam. As you can see, it there's a trend here. Steam is putting out a lot of sales.
Yeah.
Um, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. One of my friends had some good things to say about that. I mean, but then again, he loves anything to do with Marvel and he loves Lego. So that's on Game Billet or Billet. I don't know how to. I'm gonna say Billet for
Well, it
$4.90.
is.
Yeah, Billet it is. Um, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Call of Duty's right now pretty big, but if you don't want to jump on the Modern Warfare that whole hype train right now, you could pick up uh, Infinite Warfare for $14.99. And actually, one of my personal favorites, Just Cause 4. And I like the Just Cause series. I played Grand Theft Auto back in the day. Just Cause is it's a bit of a different take on that kind of open world, do whatever you want kind of thing. But you got a parachute and a grapple. You are Pathfinder with the
Basically.
parachute. um, and that right now is on sale, $13.87. So definitely check out some of those games, especially if you're looking for some new games to play and you don't have anything right now.
Yeah, we got some games on a few games on Good Old Games, the GOG. If you're into that, we've got Frostpunk, fairly new title for 14.99 on Good Old Games. Got Super Hot, the classic for 9.99 on Good Old Games. Uh, Dragon
Yo,
Age
you ever
Origin.
played like quick? You ever played Super Hot? Because I got it for the Quest. I'm stuck. I've been stuck on a level for the past like 2 months, but it's still a good game.
Uh, I've been interested in playing Super Hot for a while, but like I never really pulled the trigger to get there.
Right, right.
Seems like an interesting concept. Just
Oh yeah.
uh, I just never got around to it.
No, that's for sure. It's cool, but I think it's definitely best in VR if you could experience it.
Yeah.
What else? We got anything else?
We
So
got Dragon Age Origins Classic for
that's a classic.
4.99 on Good Old Games. So you can check out these games and more on the Steam Store, Ubisoft, and Good Old Games.
Oh, and if you do want to find a complete list, check out neowin.net and look for one of their more recent articles. This weekend PC game deals, publisher promos, and a free event gold mine. It's just a big article that has a lot of this information in it.
Yeah,
Also, if you want some free games that come out, I think it's weekly. I we'll jump into this next or a little while, but check out the Epic Game Store. They give like 2 free games every week. Uh, there's a bit of a problem with having so many different game launchers, but that's a topic for later on.
Yeah. So what more do you got in the news? In the news there.
Um, that's about it for right now. Right now on the Epic Game Store, they have two games free: Runer and Nuclear Throne. Haven't played either, but they're free, so they're definitely in my library.
Why
And we
not,
could
right?
kind of just jump into some discussions. I know one of the first topics we wanted to talk about was the whole there are too many streaming exclusives, and people are not too happy about it. I mean, I'm not too happy about it. Things are getting wild.
It is. It's interesting. Like not just on the TV streaming side, just also on the game side.
right.
On the I've got subscriptions to. I've got a Netflix subscription. I've got a Origin Access subscription. I've got uh, well, I've been thinking about getting Game Pass, and then I see Disney just came out with their subscription service, so and they're gonna have all the Marvel exclusives and all that stuff, and the
Yo,
Star Wars exclusives.
quick touch on that. I read just today. Disney Plus has already surpassed 10 million signups since launch.
They have the exclusives. They've got Marvel. They've got Star Wars. They've got
That's
the
I'll be
classic
honest. When
Disney movies. Yeah.
when Disney first announced that they were starting their own streaming, like subscription based streaming service, I was like, "Yo, that's gonna flop." Like I was like, all they got is classic Disney, and now I was like, "Oh wait, they have
Yo.
Marvel. They've been buying everything.
Yeah. They've been they've been collecting the Infinity Stones.
They, yo, this is facts. I mean, they had that whole thing with Time Warner, and it's it's getting ridiculous. Disney is it's gotten to the point where Netflix is joining forces with Nickelodeon to take on Disney Plus.
I didn't hear about that. That
Oh, this is like news that it's literally fresh off the press. Like we're talking about it's very new. We're talking about it today.
okay. That I don't know if that would work. It could work just for like if they have the classic nostalgia cartoons and series
Yeah.
that you know I don't think Nickelodeon has the exclusive to fight Disney.
No, not at
Disney
all.
just has they have too much.
I mean, the thing is, again, Disney's been a powerhouse from for a long time. Disney has, since Disney came onto the scene with Mickey Mouse. Like, I mean, Mickey Mouse still isn't public domain, which is kind of crazy. Mickey Mouse has been around for what, like 100 years, and you telling me like they change him so like a little bit every so often just so he doesn't enter public domain. That's why nobody else can use Mickey Mouse. Normally, everything
No,
becomes public domain after I think what 20 years or something like that.
I think it's 50 years.
Well, and yet Mickey Mouse is still Disney property exclusively. So I mean, but I think it's initially 50 years, and then after that, the time is actually reduced if they refresh it. I don't think it like renews to 50 years again or something. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point. I still remember. I pirating was a big thing. You had Pirate Bay and all of those torrenting sites, and that's gonna have to become popular again. Like, I mean, the
It's
like,
it's getting popular again because I'm hearing I got my ears to the ground. I've got my reporter glasses on.
some
I'm t-
Clark Kent,
and I'm taking notes.
some Clark
Yeah,
Kent.
and I hear that people are like people getting the streaming like the streaming box and the Fire Stick and stuff,
Yeah.
and using like third party apps to pirate movies and TV.
Oh, my dad does this. They have
Uh,
a
yeah.
I'm not incriminating myself. I promise. Like I'm legit with it. You know, um, I only use streaming services, but again, I don't. My taste is a bit different. I watch a lot of anime, so if I'm not watching regular YouTube videos, I'm watching anime. Uh, so I'm not really the demographic who is too caught up in live action. All of these live action streaming services, Netflix and all of that, like, Stranger Things. I'm not on the wave of Stranger Things or Game of Thrones or anything. I don't know what's going on in any of those. Um, but like my dad does have one of those things, and yeah, he's cool with it. Like he likes it.
And that's, I think a lot of people are going to tune to that because, like, it's these streaming services. Their main sell when they started getting popular was that they were cheaper than cable.
Yes.
And now, like, are they? So let's say you have a Hulu subscription. Let's say you got Hulu Live. That's $45. Then you add Netflix to that. That's like a $12 or $13. I don't know the
Yeah,
price.
it's like $13 from what I had Netflix up to like last year. So yeah, $13.
It's like $13. And then there's Disney now. I don't know the price of Disney Plus. Let me just look it up.
Oh damn, $6.99.
Well, that is
That is competitive. That yo, I pay $7.99 for Crunchyroll. I pay $1 more for less.
that
I
seems
mean,
that seems like introductory pricing. That seems like starting. I don't. We'll
they're
see.
definitely
If
not going to
it's,
maintain that. They can't maintain that.
we'll see if it stays at $6.99.
They go hit you with a welcome. 2019 welcome. They literally launched yesterday. By the way, November 12th. Um, we're recording Wednesday the 13th, and $6.99. Or if you want to get in and slam, hold in a year, lock in a whole year, $69.99. That brings it down to $583 a month, which is, if you want to talk about competitive pricing, that's competitive
That
pricing.
is for what you get. That is competitive pricing. They can't
Yeah.
maintain it. Like I know they're Disney, but they can't maintain it. But
I
we'll
don't
see.
know,
We'll
man.
we'll, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. That's one thing. I you see, the thing is, I think Disney is stubborn, and they will muscle out anybody else out of the industry until they become a monopoly, and then they'll be like, now we'll jack up the price. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then it's just a
definitely.
cycle again. Then somebody else is going to come in and find a way to do it. The thing is, I think Disney is just learning, so they're like, okay, but we can't let this happen again. So we're gonna lock this down, kick everybody else out as much as we possibly could, and then jack up the prices once they're gone.
Yeah. And then, like, that's just. This is just TV. We're not talking about whatever music service subscription you have. You might have Amazon Prime. You might have,
Yo,
like,
facts.
and then there's the game subscription. You may have Xbox Game Pass. I know it's only $1 to start for the first month, but
For like the first 3 months, I think, or something like that. More of the first. It's something. It's pretty cheap, but then it jumps up to $10 a month.
exactly. And then there might be other streaming services that you wanted that you may
And the
use.
thing
I don't
is,
know.
you also have to remember, it's not even just streaming services now. Like for Xbox, you have to pay for Xbox Live. Um, that's just to get you to be able to play online. Same thing with PlayStation Plus. Uh, just to be able to play online with your friends, you have to, like, I mean, luckily I'm locked in for a year. I'm gonna have to. They always have sales around Christmas and so on. So I got a pretty good deal last year, for both of them, and I was like, all right, I have a year, cool. And then same thing with the Switch. Although I mean, on Nintendo it's a lot cheaper. I think it's like $20 or something for like a whole year. Um, and this is just to play on. This is just to use their service online, and then on top of that, you're putting Game Pass. And if you're doing, the PlayStation one, It's crazy.
Yeah, that's and I think the big sell of a lot of these things is that it's cheaper than it's cheaper than buying it outright. Like it's cheaper than buying the Blu-ray movie. It's cheaper than buying the game. But
Yeah,
is it? Let's say you pay $150 on subscription services per month.
right.
That's overall. At For 12 months of the year, that's um I'm great at math. I'm not putting up the calculator. I am fantastic at math. I don't
Yeah, that's
even
1450 a year. I'm estimating here with my math brain, to be honest.
well, my math brain says that's $1,800 a year.
Oh, I'm I'm off then.
And that was completely brain power, no calculator used.
Took a while there, but yeah.
I promise. And so that's $1,800 a year in subscriptions. I don't think that I spent that much money on cable plus whatever TV plus whatever games I would buy before.
Right. Yeah,
I don't think I spent that
that's a
much
lot of
money.
money.
So I can understand why piracy is becoming more popular. Why it's resurging.
Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense. I mean, for me, it's a case of I I just it's like I have to pick and choose now. I have to be. I think the thing that I liked about originally like Netflix, the idea of Netflix is you're getting access to all of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of, relatively speaking, money. Um, but the problem now, like the only way I could justify having a lot of streaming services is if you use it. But then chances are, if you're an average person and you're paying for it because you have a job, that's already 8 hours approximately a day that you can't use it. If you sleep 4 to 8 hours, that's another. You have 12 to 16 hours a day that you basically can't use any of those services. you know.
Yeah.
So for me, like I just recently got Origin Premiere or whatever, and the way that I justified getting it was because I wanted to play Need for Speed Heat, and I was like, $15. I could beat this game in a month. I'm not about to pay $60 for this game, and I'm done with it in a month, and I can't do anything with it. Might as well pay $15 for Origin Premiere, beat the game in a month, like in less than a month, and then I'm done with it. So it's like I technically got the game for $15. But the cool thing with Premiere is like now I have access to all these other games. So if you use the service, then it's great. But if you don't use the service, it's just wasted money. For me personally, I can't see myself using Disney Plus, which is why I would not get it. I again, like I already said, I don't watch anything on Netflix. I'm not in the ecosystem. I have no reason to get it. So it's just I think people have to be picky about what they like really think about like what do you watch and what services have it. The problem is
You see,
bef-
that's the thing. That's the thing because this it shouldn't be like that. It didn't used to be like that. It was like before everything was basically on Netflix. Some things were on Hulu. So you got Netflix
right.
and Hulu, you're good. But now with Disney pulling off all the exclusives, and then there's I think NBC wanted to make an exclusive, and
Yep.
I'm not sure. I think Fox as well. So what would be left on Netflix? Would just like Netflix originals? It's like okay, like I guess they can pull an audience with Stranger Things and
No, but you have to remember though, this was Netflix plan off the jump. This, Netflix said, "All right, here's what. You guys have these shows that people, you know, they will watch. They want to watch, but you can't put them anywhere. We're going to pay you X amount to let us use them. So Netflix, the way Netflix did this was pretty genius. They basically took other people's content, said, "Hey, listen, we're gonna group a bunch of content, and we're gonna get people to subscribe to this, so that way you're making some money off of content that's already been created. That we're just giving you another, you know, revenue stream." And then they then create a brand. So Netflix is a brand now. Not everybody knows Netflix, and they now have a user base that use their service, and all their service is connecting them to content that has already been created. So now they have a locked in audience, and they know that license wouldn't last forever. They know that people are going to start catching on. So what they said was, all right, now we don't want to pay you to license this stuff anymore, so we're going to start creating our own stuff. That was Netflix plan from the start, to use other people's content to get people to their platform, and then uh basically
Build
use
their
that
platform.
platform and create their own content. That was their
Yeah.
whole thing, not from the start.
Yeah. Well, let's see if it works because a lot of the Netflix originals are bad. Just
Trash.
yeah, yeah, a lot of them are bad. There's a few that are really good. Ah,
Yeah.
but and Disney Disney has a lot of exclusive. I think a lot more exclusives than people think.
Oh
There's going to
yeah.
be a lot more on Disney Plus that that may surprise some people,
Right.
and I think that's why they have the 6.99 price, because if it was, let's say it was like 14.99, right? Someone was just interested in Disney Plus, and they see it was this they were looking at it, looking at what shows they have, and be like, oh, I like this show, I watched this show.
Yeah.
I wonder how much for this service, and they saw 14.99. It's like, oh, maybe it's not worth it,
Yeah.
but they'll pay 6.99.
6.99 is like, yeah, it's a bag of chips and a drink. Like,
Yeah,
it's it's kind of like, that's extremely competitive. I mean,
yeah. I think they're pricing it, basing it on these
volume.
people are going to want to watch at least this show, so they're not pricing it in terms of, oh, this is our entire library, and I think they're pricing it now, just hoping that people see a show or maybe a few shows or maybe
But
a
then,
few movies
you see, I
that they
think the
want to
question you
watch.
actually have to ask right now is, uh what does it cost Disney? It doesn't cost them anything. So I mean, they could technically,
I mean,
the shows that they have on there, right?
yeah,
They created a platform. Disney is a huge company, right? They literally pulled software engineers that they already had from other projects, and they say, okay, work on this. Um, and they already had this huge library of content that was
but they're
already
also making
created,
new
already made
content.
them money, and they just said, okay, let's just allow people to watch it whenever they want now. I mean, like, obviously the new content and stuff. The thing is, they're just taking old content that's already made them money
Yeah,
and
but
saying,
that's not all they're doing. If that was all they're doing, I could understand the pricing. But they're making new content. They're making a new
well, yeah,
Star
like
Wars
like the Loki, the Loki thing that's going for Disney Plus, right?
and they're also making a new Star Wars series. I think they spent like 100, like no, not 100. It's like $1 billion or something ridiculous like that to get the service up and running
But
and
the
to
thing
fund
is,
the new shows.
what I'm saying is that, like, it's not like they weren't already going to do that. They had, like, they already
That's
had the idea for that Star Wars series, but they were putting it on Disney Channel. Now they're just like, okay, I mean, we're technically, like, Disney already thought that they were going to be doing all of this stuff. Disney already had the idea that they just said, okay, let's how can we make a little bit? How can we skim some off the top? And they said, let's just do Netflix. We already have this body of content that we literally own. We've already profited off of. How can we profit off of it more? And it's like, yo, let's make a library of this stuff and say, hey, 6.99 for access. Now you can, like, look at all of our old stuff too. And, like, again, yeah, they are creating new stuff, but they were already gonna do that. They just didn't know where they were gonna put it, and they were like, "Well, now we have a place to put it."
That's true.
So I don't think it costs Disney as much as people might think. I think like yeah, it did. It definitely did cost them something, but the amount it's going to make them compared to what it cost for them to build this negligible, and
We'll
that's why they could charge so cheaply for it.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely see how it goes. I mean,
I'll be monitoring Disney Plus. Just
one thing with Netflix, when Netflix, again, I, I think I watched The Walking Dead a few years ago. Back, my roommates used to watch it. I was like, all right, let me jump into this. So first summer after the first year, I was like, all right, time to catch up on Walking Dead, and I caught up on everything. Watch it all on Netflix, and the thing is, like, Netflix originals, they're really not. Yeah, like the ones that I've heard about and the ones I've seen, not that great. I actually liked this one called Sense8. I thought that was pretty dope. I thought the concept was pretty cool, but I kind of it got canceled. All of that stuff. And one thing that I was actually like, I might actually have to get Netflix is because again, Netflix was like so the average budget for anime in Japan is like I think uh how much is it? 200 million yen, which is like 2 million US dollars or 20 million or something like that. And Netflix was like, all right, we are going to quintuple the budget for most animes that we're going to be making that go on Netflix. So they went from 200 million to a billion yen per like anime. And I was like, yo, this is the monetary boost that the anime industry needs. Like, like the anime industry survives on literally the few that make it, you know? So I was like, all right, I'll be ready to support Netflix if they start doing anime. And then they started doing anime and it was absolute trash. And I was like, all right, I'm done, you know? So yeah, I don't know what Netflix, big plan is, but they need to definitely start getting some people on there that make their stuff really good.
no, they were funding. I think they spent. Don't want to get the figure wrong, but I believe they said they were spending like 4 billion over the next couple of years on originals,
Yeah, I mean,
which is
it's
insane.
insane.
Maybe one of them will be a hit. Maybe they'll. I mean, they already have a few hits that I think a lot of people would. I think a lot of people would keep Netflix for a good while just because of it's Netflix. It's the gold standard right now.
Right.
But
But that's the thing too. I mean, now I think about it, like Netflix doesn't need to be profitable. Like, I mean, in the sense of Netflix, how well a show does not necessarily translate to dollar signs for Netflix. Netflix only cares that you still have the service. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like
true.
whether a show is good or not. Like even if you're there for one show, if you're there for just Stranger Things,
You
then
still have
you're
to pay
you're
pay
still
for
playing.
more content.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So it's like they don't need a show to do good. They just need to have shows. They just need to have stuff for people to watch.
yeah.
And once they have content, people have no choice but to stay. I mean, because chances are people will stay just because
What are you gonna do? Go back to cable? No.
exactly. It's like it might be interesting, but then the question is like they could go to Disney Plus. They could go to any of these million other streaming services that are popping up. So I
Uh,
guess Netflix does need to stay competitive in some sense. They have to have some good stuff to keep
yeah,
people.
yeah. Because I mean, Stranger Things is not going to run forever.
Yeah. So what's the next Stranger Things, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, speaking about all these services and how I hate them, I may actually get a next one.
Oh God. what
well,
is it?
not another one. Just the premium Origin access, because okay, like I wasn't gonna get it because of Need for Speed Heat because I could wait for a while
Right.
until it's on access,
Yeah.
basic. because I don't need to play this game right
Yeah, yeah.
now. But Jedi Fallen Order, a game that no one is talking about.
Yo, just like Need for Speed, no
Literally
hype
no
around
one.
it.
Yeah, well, at least Need for Speed in the last couple of months, like before, they were like reaching out to YouTubers and telling them, "Hey, talk about our game," and like, "We have got this new
I
game coming
knew
out."
nothing. I was like, Need for Speed Heat, is that a mobile game?
Nah, nah, nah. They spent a bit on promoting it. That just maybe you just like
I'm in a
don't
bubble, man. I didn't
don't
see
watch the
anything.
content that they will push. Yeah, but they promoted Heat. But Fallen Order, I'm not seeing anything. This is a
Silent.
this is a Star Wars game. This is a Star Wars game. I think
You
that
know what happened?
speaks. This
They messed
speaks
up
to how,
Battlefield
yeah,
so bad that they were like, yo, okay, let's not even promote this. Let's just let people say it's good.
yeah. I think that just speaks to how badly they messed up Battlefront because they
Right.
don't want to even. They just say like, "Yo, let's have a quiet release. We'll have the reviewers. They'll review it, and they'll say it's good, hopefully, and
Hopefully.
then the reviewers will get people to buy the game."
Right.
But I think I'm gonna try it day one, so I might get access. Although Black Friday is coming up, and there's usually some kind of deal for Black Friday, so
I
we'll see.
doubt that a game that new, like
Well, not
this
not
new, is gonna have.
not for the game, for access,
Oh, for access. Oh,
for
wait,
Origin
really?
access. Yeah.
For Premiere, there's. Oh, I did not know that. If I knew that, no, I still would have got it. I'm impatient.
Now I'm waiting. Like usually for Cyber Monday, Black Friday, or like Christmas, there's a deal.
Yeah, I mean, again, I heard Need for Speed, and then I just heard some of the initial. It's not. Yeah, like this is the perfect segue into the next topic. Need for Speed came out. I got it. We'll talk a little bit about it. But Need for Speed used to be the classic arcade racer, from childhood. I started with Hot Pursuit 2 on the PS2. Um, and I've had like I just want to go through a little bit of the list of the Need for Speed games. I had Hot Pursuit 2, went went to Underground right after. Then Underground 2 came out. Then
Had
I
to
went to
get that.
Most Wanted. Huh?
Had to get that. Yeah.
Yo, Underground 2, yo, Riders on. Yeah, you,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you've played it, you like the soundtrack for that game is iconic in and of itself.
Yep. Yep.
And then they followed up with Most Wanted, which yeah, that
That was
yeah, come on.
that was just like a nice cap. The original Most Wanted. That was just like a nice. I consider that the first era, like the first era of Need for Speed, and
Yeah, that
from Need for Speed One up to uh, Need for Speed Most Wanted. That's that for me at least. That's just the first era.
that like yeah, for sure. That is like after that I did play Carbon, but it wasn't Most Wanted. It dropped off. Most Wanted was like Most Wanted was an icon, you know? I feel like even just like I don't know what, but they did that game was it was right for the time. It was a great game. Carbon, again, I liked Carbon. I just don't remember much about it. Like the thing I could definitely say about I could even say now that I think about it, I could say I don't remember Underground, the original, that much. I remember it was an open world. Underground 2, they brought that open world.
Yeah.
And they had the whole the hills part of the map was locked, so you had to beat, so and so you have to get to this level or whatever, so you can lock that part of the map and then you and like yo, I was like, yo, this game is crazy. And then with the customizations and you
Yeah.
had neon and the thing is
You could do
you could
everything.
do everything. You had a yo, they had sound systems that you used to be able to put in. I
Yeah.
was like, yo,
They had
why do I?
they had hydraulics. You could
They
put
had hydraulics. Yo, that game had every single customization, and it was perfect for the time in context of, like what was coming out. Fast and Furious, massive, right? Back in like, I remember it was a case of I watched Fast and Furious and I went to Underground 2 and I used to be like, yo, I'm about to do my own Fast and Furious. You know, as a kid, this was the groove. And I mean, some people are mad that Most Wanted didn't capitalize with the whole customizations, but Underground 2 was in it was a whole other world. Carbon, I just can't remember the story for Carbon. I remember the story distinctly for Most Wanted. You know, it's
Because it
the
was a good
underdog
story.
story.
Yeah. I would say Most Wanted had the best story from the first
Facts,
from the first era. They had the
facts.
and I think even now I haven't played Need for Speed Heat, but even now I would still say Most Wanted had the best story.
Out of all the Need for Speed Heat story is like, I mean, it's nothing that grabs me. Like Most Wanted, but again, I have to argue. I don't know if it's the story or if it's just the fact that I've experienced so many other things now. Like as a kid, having a game that had a story in it like that was new, relatively speaking. You know, I mean, like, yeah, you had other games, but like for a racing game. But nowadays, you know, I mean, we're older. We've seen a lot more, and you know, just as tech and everything has improved, like there's a lot more content constantly around us. So if I wonder if I gave 12-year-old or 10-year-old me Need for Speed Heat, would I still, would I be in awe? Because it's very hard to compare, like you're a different person than you were from when you were 10. Like 10-year-old me saw the world completely different than I did now, you know?
I mean, we could kind of we can't test it,
Exactly.
but like, are there 10-year-olds playing Need for Speed Heat right now?
But what I'm saying is it's hard, you can't even compare it like that because the whole thing right now is online multiplayer, and whereas back in the days we didn't have a choice for that stuff. Like that stuff came later, it wasn't very accessible back then. I still remember like it wasn't a thing, like. But nowadays a lot of the 10-year-olds are playing Fortnite and stuff. Like that's just the new wave.
Yeah, true.
So it's hard to compare. Like there's no really perfect way to compare it because again, it could just be, it's like a style. Things go in and out of style. And back then, this was the best style that we had. And if you were to put Need for Speed Heat in the hands of somebody back then, the only way you could ever compare it is if you put it in that exact same environment.
I think if you put it back there, then well, I need to play it. I need to play it to make an opinion on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Play it whenever you do get Premiere. Give it a shot. I think I'm 7 hours in so far. Story isn't bad. I mean, the before we jump into Heat a little bit more, like let's just continue up the list of Need for Speed. Carbon came after the game I got after Carbon, Pro Street. That's when they tried to do this whole, we're gonna be more Gran Turismo-y
Yeah,
simulation type
that's what
thing.
everyone asks for. They ask for a simulation from Need for Speed. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think that was like, it was cool. Don't get me wrong, but it was cool for me because it was different. It wasn't what
Yeah,
I was. It was like,
yeah.
all right, this is something new to master.
See, for me, it was not cool because I had Need for Speed as my this is my casual racing game. I was super into racing games back then,
Right,
and then I had Dirt Rally and Gran Turismo for my simulation style racing games.
right.
And when Pro Street came out, I only had simulation style racing games. I think the only other thing was like Midnight Club or something,
True.
or like Burnout, Burnout can be fun, but like,
Burnout is super arcade.
yes,
Burnout is super, like, I'm doing this to crash into cars, big flashy. I feel like Need for Speed was a nice little balance. Like,
yeah.
it was like arcade, but not completely like Burnout.
So yeah, they kind of took a or a genre within a genre. They take a car racing genre within a genre off the market when they release Pro Street.
Yeah,
So I didn't enjoy it that much, but I still played it. It was fine.
it was like honestly like I preferred Dirt. Like I think it was Dirt 2. I preferred Dirt 2 to Need for Speed Pro Street.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but then Need for Speed came back. They were like, "All right, we're done with that simulation stuff. Let's go to Undercover," which I think was supposed to be a direct like you know, what is it, epilogue after Most Wanted.
Yeah, it was not.
Yeah, it didn't connect very well. Like, you know,
I
I,
think
I, I didn't understand.
I think like the all right. I played a good bit of this game on PS2. Uh, the map was, I think the map was fairly similar to the map on Most Wanted.
Right.
I don't know if they thought that, all right, we just make the map similar because that's what made the game special, right? The
Yeah.
map, they will just make the map similar and they'll enjoy it. And it was not the same. It was not even like
No,
interesting. I can't even remember the story. I can't
I
even
can't
remember.
remember the story. Like that's how you know something wasn't that great. I just
Yeah.
can't remember the story.
I don't even remember what car I had. I could remember exactly what car I had on Need for on all
To
the other,
this day,
like on Need
I
for Speed, on
still remember.
Need for Speed Most Wanted. I remember those cars. I have no idea what car I had on Undercover.
Yeah, like definitely like up to Most Wanted. That was the platinum era. Like
Yeah,
that's why I'm gonna call it the platinum era. You know. Uh, but like Undercover, the only thing I remember, like I'm looking at the cover of Undercover, and I'm seeing a Porsche on it. I'm like, I think I remember that Porsche. I can't even say
like
definitively. It's like
maybe I remember that Porsche.
maybe, you know. I think I remember something like I'm on a bridge and the Porsche is there. Like that's all. That's literally all I remember about Undercover.
This is a game that I played a good bit. It's not like
Oh yeah, this is. I played this probably minimum 80 hours because like I didn't like I was a kid who like there was an online play. It's like if I played by myself, and I made these stories up in my head while I'm driving around, destroying cop cars.
and I remember nothing of it. So
Yeah, exactly.
moving on.
And then they came and they were like, "Let's go back to the racing simulation type thing. We're gonna hit you with Shift, Need for Speed Shift." I had it. I could honestly say I remember zero about the game.
Yeah,
Nothing.
it was a racing sim. That was basically.
That's. I just know it was a Need for Speed game that I bought. I played for I think a total of 20 hours, probably, maybe more than that, because like for me, no, I think I probably went back to the older games. Honestly, I think I was just like, yeah, this is trash. Like, 12-year-old me was like, this is garbage.
This is hot garbage.
Need for garbage. And then the next big Need for Speed Nitro. I don't even remember this.
Uh, that was a game.
Oh, it was for the Wii and Nintendo DS. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
touch it. Came out the same year as Shift. Need for Speed World was the next big one.
That was an important game. Looking
Definitely. I
back,
think it
that
was
was
a
important.
milestone in there.
Yeah. Because what came after Need for Speed World?
Hot Pursuit.
Hot Pursuit. I believe. Oh, did Hot Pursuit have online yet?
I believe it did. I think I remember it having online.
Because
I'm fairly sure.
after they released Need for Speed World, a lot that game was okay, but a
Yeah.
lot of the open world concept, a lot of the online concept that were in the following games up to now came from Need for Speed World.
Yeah, it came from that's like I don't that foundation, that world set.
Yeah.
And I mean, like when I heard about Hot Pursuit though, I was like, yo, it's time again. Like again, Hot Pursuit 2 was the Need for Speed game I started with. I to this like I said, like I've been I still listen to the soundtrack now and then. Uncle Cracker going down on it. You know, like those songs in my head are they're still there. I can play it in my head right now. They're iconic. Um, and Hot Pursuit, it was cool. It was nice to see all of these cars with updated graphics and everything. It was nice to see like Hot Pursuit 2. It wasn't open world, but I loved it.
Hot Pursuit
This was
2.
like
I
Hot
believe
Pursuit
Hot
2, the
Pursuit
like
was.
from the early Hot Pursuit 2.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't open world. Then the Hot Pursuit remake, that was open world, and it was nice to see like, this environment because a lot of the other Need for Speeds were city suburbanish. Hot Pursuit, the remake, came back to much more of a like, all right, we have rural, mountainy, long stretches of road type of area, forests, which definitely, took from Hot Pursuit 2,
Yeah.
from the early Hot Pursuit 2, which I was like, this is great. And it was the new cars, this was the first time I saw a Pagani, and I was like, yo, what is
Oh,
that?
Honda. Yeah, those Honda was in that game. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, ooh, because like me, I knew what I saw on in movies like Fast and Furious. I knew Lamborghinis, Porsche. Uh, you had Nissan with their Skyline. They didn't have. I don't think they. I think the GTR was like brand new then, but like this Pagani was like, yo, what is this? And it was cool to see it. Um, but yeah, that game was that was an important one for me.
Yeah. I liked Hot Pursuit. I just thought the driving style was a bit too arcadey. Like
Yeah,
you could drift around every corner,
yeah,
which
yeah.
was like it got
It
it got
became
repetitive and a little dull after a point.
it was less skilled and got so jumping like forward a few years here. Need for Speed Heat. It it's not that it's like that type of driving style, but the way that you drift now, like the mechanic for drifting now, right? Is they changed it. So before, it was like you initiate a drift by either tapping the e-brake or some like if you're really like once you get the hang of it, you could initiate e-brakes just by tapping regular brakes and kind of you develop that. In Heat, they were like, yeah, okay, you could use the traditional drift style, but we're gonna like have the default drift style as you when you start turning, you let off the gas and then you tap it again and like you tap and hold it kind of thing, and that's what like initiates the drift. No braking at all needed. Which is, I mean, I've left it on just because I want to see how good it holds up. It makes things, it makes me feel less cool. It makes me feel less like, oh yeah, I'm really doing it. It makes me feel like, okay, I'm tapping a button and I'm tapping it again. Like it's like, okay,
Yeah, so it's like everyone could do this.
yeah,
This is
exactly.
not
There's no
skill.
skill here.
Yeah.
But when you see it, when you try it out, you'll be able to give me a little bit more feedback of what you think about it.
Just going back to some old Need for Speed games. One that I enjoyed, but I don't think a lot of people enjoyed. I'm not sure actually. Is Outrun. With
Outrun,
the
yo,
cross country.
yo,
Yeah.
yo. Hold on, wait, hold on. Now I'm. Hold on. Am I bugging right now? Like, hold on. Oh yeah, yeah. Wait. Need for Speed Outrun? Isn't that was that a game or was that a mode in Need for Speed? Like,
Let me just check it out.
because Outrun, I'm seeing like I looked it up just now, and Outrun was like in Underground 2 when you came across a car, you had the Outrun mode.
No. I'm thinking of a different game. I'm not remembering the name of the game correctly.
Is it that one?
It's the one where you go cross country. Let me see.
Right, and then you could like transform into different like vehicles.
Uh, Transform into different vehicles. Like
There's
you,
one where
like yeah. Oh, the run, not outrun.
The Run. Yeah,
The
yeah,
run.
yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
You actually you played like yeah. I was faithful to the Need for Speed franchise. I can say that.
Yeah,
I didn't do any. That was crazy.
I'm looking at these games here, and there's very few that I didn't play. I didn't play Payback. I didn't play Rivals, and I think that's it.
So like I think so. All the games I played have from Hot Pursuit 2. I played Hot Pursuit 2, Underground 2, Most Wanted, Carbon, Pro Street, Shift. Uh, I don't think I played the World. Honestly, I know I played Hot Pursuit. Uh, I played a little bit of the Run. I played the Most Wanted revamp in hopes that it would have been great. Skipped Rivals. I did play Need for Speed, the 2015 one. Skipped Payback, and then I'm back to Heat. So I think I like all in all, I think I've like missed like three Need for Speed games,
Yeah,
3 or 4.
yeah. I missed a bit. Like I definitely didn't play Nitro. I'm not counting that as a.
I'm not even counting that. I'm talking about like console. Like they have Need for Speed. What was it like? Need for Speed No Limits. That was an iOS and Android game. I'm not counting like mobile Need for Speed. I'm not counting.
And if you want to be a real dick about it, you could not count the Most Wanted remake because that was bad.
It was it was pretty trash. Like
It
I
was
mean, I actually like I felt disrespected playing that game. I was like, you cannot put Most Wanted on this. That's disrespectful to the original Most Wanted.
Yeah, that was it was not a great experience.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, but Need for Speed. It's definitely one thing I will say is the only Need for Speed game I could say I've even touched with a keyboard was Carbon, and that was just because my cousin had it and I needed to beat some stuff for him. But racing games in general, it's a console. You want to use a controller. It's a control. It's one of the few games that you can play on PC where a controller is just better.
Yeah, especially if you want to play online against people, probably just go console. You're just gonna have a bigger crowd. Uh,
Exactly. I mean, I honestly think like I'm not sure if they do, but cross-platform would be
it'd be huge.
pretty good for racing games. I
It'd be
mean,
huge.
like there's nobody who's gonna have more of an advantage. I mean, it's like because the whole thing with PC is you have a mouse and keyboard, and consoles could have a mouse and keyboard, but you have to like go an extra step. I mean, I guess like you could say the same thing for PC, where it's like, but I feel like PC to get a controller is not that hard. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
you
true.
grab a controller and you just plug it in, and you're good to go.
And then, well, and the extra FPS that you might get on PC does not matter.
Doesn't matter, not in a
Yeah,
racing game.
yeah.
But speaking about consoles, good segue into the next topic. PlayStation 5. It's coming next year. I mean, both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, whatever they're gonna call it, the two.
Yeah. You're gonna get one or both, like last time.
I'm probably gonna get both, but definitely not like off the jump. I'm definitely gonna wait a little bit. Like I have all the consoles right now. I'm not. It's weird. I'm not yet ready to grandfather. My the Xbox and the PS4 that I have right now. I don't know if I'm ready for another child yet. Is the best way I'll put it. But they will definitely be coming home with me at some point. Um, I don't know if I'm going to do it at the same time. Maybe I might just go pull the trigger and get both. But we'll see.
Ah,
But I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I mean, one thing I will say is the naming conventions. All of Sony's other naming conventions are so messed up. their their headphones, for example, the Sony MHX 1000.
yeah, yeah. I have no idea which is the premium line. I think we went over this on our first episode that is lost in the archives. But
Yeah, unfortunately.
the naming conventions for these products are like weird. Uh, I respect the PlayStation naming
They
style.
were like, let's keep it simple. We had the PlayStation,
Oh,
PlayStation 2, 3, 4, and we're just, I mean, like, keep it simple. We're gonna have the 5.
yeah, that they had the four what's the Pro or something? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, the 4 Pro, and honestly, the only reason that I think even happened in the first place was just because there was this weird in between when
yeah,
like you had
they
the
had
4,
there were
and
next
then
gen games that they couldn't run.
exactly,
You
and it
needed
was like a case of like now you had this bump up in resolution. So like from the PS2 to PS3 was a little. It wasn't a bump up in necessarily resolution, but it was a change in the outputs that you use. That so you went from these what's it called, the auxiliary cables, the white, yellow, and red,
oh
to
the
then it was
RCA
like,
cables.
oh yeah, the RCA cables. You went from the white, yellow, and red to like, all right, the PS3 now has an HDMI,
Yeah,
and then, but there wasn't really any. I would say there's not any huge bump in like resolution. Um, but then you had the PS3 to the PS4. That's a little bit of a bump in resolution, and then there was this weird in between period where it's like 4K is now a thing, like, and that happened pretty quick, and it got affordable fairly quick, and it was like, okay, how do we do 4K? We can't wait for the next generation just yet,
so
since
yeah,
we're still a few years off.
let's just refresh it.
Let's just refresh it. Like, I mean, we did it with the PS2 and the PS3. We went from the PS2 to the PS2 Slim, PS3, PS3 Slim. Let's just Pro. Like, I mean, and I was
Plus,
like, oh, it was good. I think they handled that well.
yeah, give them a chance to sell some of their VR stuff too.
Exactly. Although if you're playing with the Sony VR, you got problems. Like, I'm sorry, it's trash. Like, honestly, between I also have the Quest, the Oculus Quest. I like. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, I have the money. I could get a Sony. I could get the Sony VR thing, but I was the PlayStation VR, my bad. And I was like, nah. I was just like, nah. I'm not about to spend a console. And then the Oculus Quest came out, and I was like, that's it. I was like, as soon as literally like, Facebook is creeping everywhere, and they would hit me with the ad on Instagram. They were like, hey, we bought Oculus, so we're definitely gonna promote them for the cheap. And we know you like video games and you like VR stuff. We have a standalone headset. Here you go. And I was like, can't be that good. I look into it and I'm like, yo, this is the truth, bro. This is the way. like no lie. My uncle came over a couple months ago when I got it. And I was playing in my room, and he saw. He was like, "Is that wireless?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's everything is on the headset itself." And he was like, "Yo, that's crazy." And then he texted me literally just before we started. I want to get one for Christmas. Where can I get it? Like, what do I need to look up? So shout out to Uncle Terry, and he was like, I want an Oculus for my Christmas, and need to know more and what I should look for. I was like, it's called the Oculus Quest. Get it on Amazon, Best Buy, and he was like, do I need to have a PC? No, he was sold. That's it. My aunt came over, visited at the start of August, showed it to her. I showed it to her and her wife, and uh, like they were both, like they're older ladies, like in their late 50s, uh, and her wife was like, she was pretty skeptical, she was just like, I don't know if that's for me. She tried it on. They went crazy. They literally wouldn't take it off. Like, she was like, yo, you have to try this, and they literally were like, Christmas is happening. you know, the Oculus Quest is so it's good. That's all I could say. It's a great introduction to VR for not the cost of traditional VR.
I actually still have not tried any VR whatsoever. Not
Oh
even the
man,
cheap, not even the cheap
not
shitty.
even a cardboard.
Not even that. I don't think I like it.
That's
I
an
just,
interesting statement. You gotta back that up.
I just like I used to get pretty bad motion sickness before, just like playing on like earlier, like even now, if I was to play like an early PC game, like the earlier versions of Doom or something, where
Yeah,
there isn't that much shake and the movement is kind of unrealistic and like I don't know exactly how to describe the movement.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I used to get motion sickness just from playing Call of Duty. You know, Call of Duty had this weird. I don't know what it was. I had to turn it off. And once I turned it off, I was fine. But that game was weird. Like Call of Duty, all of them actually. Like it I just remember I used to get a headache and I used to just start feeling really sick and I did not know what it was. But one thing I could say as somebody who has experience getting motion sickness from video games, yo, VR has gotten good to the point where I don't think it's gonna be as much of a factor as you think.
Well, they are still. I hear the stories of people just like trying it and throwing up and feeling dizzy and stuff.
Right, but I think it also depends on what game you're playing too. So there are like different ratings for certain VR games. Like for example, Beat Saber, one of my favorite VR games, that is rated as comfortable. Like it's been tested. Even like some of the people who get most sick, they've tried it and they're like, I could do this. There are some games though, like Pavlov. It's a first person shooter. The thing that throws me off with that is you have to use the thumbsticks to walk around, and so that means I'm walking around by pushing forward on the thumbstick, but my body isn't moving, so there's this disconnect, and that messes me up so bad. So it's like, my brain is like, we're moving, and my body's like, no, we're not, you know, and it's like, and my stomach's like, I don't know who to listen to. I'm gonna projectile vomit. So, like, the thing is, for stationary games, I think you'll be fine with it. I really think it'll be good.
I'll try it someday. It's not high on my list of things to try just because uh, I don't care
Not
about it.
yet.
I don't
Not
care about
yet.
it that much.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think VR is still very much in its infancy. I'm very much a guy. I like to be on the cutting edge. So if it's something new, I want to try it.
Yeah, I may try like we were talking about earlier that PlayStation 5 console. I saw that they
Oh,
maybe maybe I might just to get some exclusive games, maybe a God of War when the next one
right,
comes
right.
out. I'm looking at. I saw the patent online for the
Oh God, the thing
cartridge.
that looks like an engine kind of thing.
I don't the cartridge.
Oh,
I
yes, I've
don't know
heard
if
about
that's
that. The whole cart, like they have a cartridge thing now.
I don't know if that's related. I don't know how that's related to the PlayStation 5, if it is, but mm,
I
that's
just
kind of
don't know.
interesting.
I don't know where it would fit in. It's like, what do you need a cartridge for? Are you putting games on it? Like, is it a case of like media has gotten so big that you had to develop a new storage format that's a cartridge? Is it like an SD card?
I don't know. Let me get a picture of it up on stream. Uh, for the stream.
Because the thing is, like, let's just going back into Sony history. Cartridges were used for storing memory, and cartridges in Nintendo are used for playing games.
And they
We
had
don't need the
cartridges for the PSP and the PS Vita.
right. So for games as well.
Yeah.
So it's either games or memory. But the whole thing is onboard storage and Wi-Fi, which is basically, I mean, like in first world countries, like a human right now. Like people are mad if they go somewhere and there's not Wi-Fi. you know, um, and so Wi-Fi, kind of Wi-Fi and large storage, like the original PS4. I had one of those. Um, Came with 500 gigs, storage, but most of the media was Blu-ray disc, so you were still expected to have the games. PS4 Pro refresh came out, a lot more storage, and I could only imagine it's only going to keep getting, games are getting bigger. Onboard storage needs to also get bigger. So as long as you have Wi-Fi and a big enough onboard storage, like what do you need cartridges for? And then there's the cloud where all of your game progress and memory is saved. So it can be memory. So it's confusing.
And they've already said that they won't make a next PlayStation Vita, which makes sense just because mobile gaming is a thing.
Yeah.
So like, why would you make a next handheld game? I mean, Nintendo do it. Nintendo does it, but it's still Nintendo. They could do whatever the hell they want, and
Yeah.
they've got the exclusives that fit that playstyle. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Like Nintendo has very much established itself in a certain part of the market as a certain type of company, to be honest. So I just
Yeah.
again, patents don't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah.
Patents just mean, hey, we tried this, we don't want anybody else to try it, so we're gonna just
Yeah.
patent it before somebody else takes it.
And that could be it. And they could just be partnered just because someone else might be interested in the technology, and they just want to say, "Oh, if you want to use it, you'll have to pay
You
us."
got to come through us, exactly.
Uh, I think we can move on to our next topic with that.
Yeah. So, well, moving on. Like we were talking about mobile gaming, and I honestly think mobile gaming is smartphones are super powerful now. There's no need for again. Like I honestly think the what do you call it the Switch is probably going to be one of the last mobile gaming. And the thing is, the Switch isn't even just exclusively mobile gaming. The Switch is they tried to sell the Switch as it's a console that you can take on the go, you know. But I think the Switch is going to be the last piece of mobile gaming like that we're gonna get. It's the last. We're not gonna get any more PSPs just because phones have gotten good. And the LG G8X thin Q dual screen. The fact that foldables are becoming a thing. Uh, Although again they're really pricey right now. With the Samsung Galaxy Fold is selling at two G's a pop. $2,000 a pop. It's ridiculous. But a solution like the G8X Thin Q, where you have a case that you pop your phone into, and boom, you have two screens. And then if you turn that into the app developers who jump on that, the gaming app developers who jump on that, if this goes mainstream, that's money. That's big money. This is a DS. This is just a DS,
Yeah.
but you're full.
Yeah. Yeah.
And considering kids nowadays are gonna be, like kids nowadays have phones when they're 10, and it's like, hey mom, like
And
get this case.
it's not that expensive either. Well, saying it's not that expensive is like it's $6.99.
But it comes with the case though. It comes with
It
that
comes with the case, so you get two screens for that $6.99.
which again compared to the 2 grand for the Galaxy Fold, yeah,
Yes,
that's wild, man.
but I mean, parents might get it for their kids, like on a contract or something. So
I mean, I could easily see this. I could see a parent like because if you think about it, if the next best thing is an iPhone that starts at what $800.
the iPhone got cheaper. You can get an iPhone, I think the XR for 650.
Oh, so
Yeah,
this
they slashed some prices.
damn, okay. I mean, like again, it's a weird thing. People like their iPhones. People, especially teenagers, they want to be part of the blue bubble community.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you don't
It's
want to
like,
be a green bubble boy out here.
ugh, the green bubble. It's like the green bubble people have done a lot for this community. All right, There, there are a lot of things on your iPhone right now that the green bubble people innovated. Okay, so
Yeah,
just
one thing
remember
I
that.
will say is green bubble people. We had wallpapers first. I, yo, the original like you couldn't put a wallpaper. I had to jailbreak my iPod to put a wallpaper on it. So the green bubble community, we do things. We get things done. We force Apple's hand. But it's interesting the path that things are going. I definitely could see this as a honestly in a year in a couple years when this right here is going to become what dirt cheap $300. That is a viable thing to buy for a kid as a little gaming thing, a handheld gaming thing.
Uh, you see, okay, now I agree with you to an extent. I don't know if this phone exactly does it because there aren't other products like this, but there are products that give you a gamepad for your phone.
Right.
So, like, why not just get one of those? If you're that much of a mobile gamer, you get like you get physical buttons, which is better for gaming, and an actual analog stick, an actual thumbstick.
I I think it comes down to how to say it, like being streamlined, right? Like I mean, if you can have a really good gamepad that probably folds super flat, and it's just like I could see this becoming more of a thing just because it's not intrusive. It's just you. It's a
Yes,
case. It's a case first and a screen second. And it comes with the phone.
yeah, I see that.
So it's like if you're already in the market for a phone, you get this. It comes with the phone, and you say, "All right, well, uh,
You don't have to choose. I understand what you're saying. Like with the gamepad, you will have to choose. It's like, alright, do I want to carry this on my trip where I'm going now? Do I want to?
exactly."
But with this, you don't have to think about it. You could just
Yeah,
pop it in the case.
it's
Yeah,
like I'm already gonna be carrying it. Might
yeah,
as well. So I mean, I think it's an interesting move. I do think it says something about. I don't know exactly what yet. I do think it says something about the future of foldables. Maybe foldables in the future, like foldables is going to be a thing for sure. Uh, it's probably going to be for a very niche part of the market, but it's definitely going to be a case of technology from foldables is going to trickle down to other things. Again, I've been on the Galaxy Note hype train since the Note. Like once I heard big screen, I was on it. I was, and people were like, "Ew, it's so big! Like you're gonna put that in your pocket. You're gonna hold that up to your face. You're gonna look stupid."
yeah.
And now
No,
every single phone out there is bigger than the original Note.
yeah. The smallest screen you could find is close to 6 inches.
Exactly. So it's like okay, come on, like this. I don't want to brag, but I was on that first. Like, and I definitely think that it's going to be a similar case with this.
Yeah,
It's going
but
to be a case.
to be fair, phones were a lot bigger back then. So like a 6-inch screen back then was huge
Yeah, because
because
you
they
had
were
bezels and
huge bezels. So
they
yeah,
didn't know how to streamline it yet. Like they didn't know how to curve. Like
and it was not very ergonomic.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, tech. But one can say the same thing about what's going to happen with foldables. I mean, foldables right now are kind of in a weird position, but they're the first generation. They're brand new. I think it'll be interesting to see where they come or where they go.
Yeah. I don't. I'm inter- I'm actually not sure if they will be the products of the future.
Again, I don't think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be a very niche market where, again, like I'd say, again, I'm a Note boy. I've had the Note since the Note 5. Then I had the Notes. I didn't get the Note 7 because of problems. Then I had the Note 8, and then I jumped to the Note 10 Plus. And although the Notes, big features, the big screen, but the S Pen, it's gonna be a case of the Note defined the whole phablet line where people have bigger phones, but the bigger phones didn't take the S Pen with it. I think it's gonna be something similar with foldables. I think it's gonna be a case of like, okay, we see that foldables are still gonna be unique, but we're gonna take the fact that this dual screen kind of approach, like with the thin Q, the LG G8X thin Q, we might not go like full foldable screen where but we might create a side product that goes with it. You know
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they'll take something from it, but I
exactly.
don't think I don't think any phone like that looks like this, like the Fold or the G8 X Thin Q, horrible name.
Yeah. All right. Again, you guys don't copy Sony.
Eh, Well, okay, so yeah, I don't think these would be that popular, but I could see something coming from this.
100%.
Yeah.
All it takes is Apple to say, "Hey, so we were cooking it up in the lab, and we came up with this attachment for the iPhone. Look at it. Look at this. It's a case, and you put your iPhone in it, and now you have two screens. We made it just now. Like nobody else. Nobody did this first. This was us,
Exclusive.
exclusive." And then they're like, "Oh, but what about the shut up? Get him out of
No, no,
here.
no, no, no.
He's gone."
We're first, okay? We're the first company to do this. No one's ever
It's
even
like
thought about it.
you pull out the Men in Black thing. Everybody, please just look right here quickly. Flash, awesome. Okay, like I was saying, so we came out with this first. It's great.
They'll just rename it to something that sounds
They're gonna be
super
like,
appley.
gosh, I don't even know what Apple would call a folding device. But Apple, like they can't. Samsung already killed it with the Galaxy Fold. They were just like, Apple can't take that. It's so simple and clean. I don't know what Apple would do.
The the I
iFlex.
something like that. The
Do you
iFlex
want to flex? Get the
or
iFlex.
the Apple Flex.
Yeah. Oh my
I
gosh.
mean,
But
I think the Apple Flex right now is just having an AirPods. That's the
yeah, or
Apple
no,
Flex.
no, no. The Apple Flex is having the AirPods Pro.
Yeah, yeah, the Pro with the noise canceling. Oh,
Yeah. I walked into work and I went to talk to one of my coworkers about something. And this dude is rocking with the pros. And I'm like, dude. He was like, I was like, you got the pros? He was like, yeah, I'm ready rocking with the pros. And I was like, I like he said he had the original AirPods and then his what was it? His wife saw them and then she was like, can I get that? And then he was like, all right. And then he got another pair and then his son was like, hey, can I get some? He was like, all right, take this. And then he was like, you know what? Good timing. The pros just came out, so I got these. You guys stick with the AirPods. I'm good. So it's interesting. Apple will always be Apple.
Apple will indeed always be Apple.
Yeah. But again, I think we got through a lot of the topics that we wanted to talk about. We went a little bit over. Normally, we try to keep the podcast at an hour. We're at hour 18 approximately right now. But there's a lot to discuss.
Yeah, uh, I think we got everything. Everything
Yeah.
that, everything of importance.
Everything of importance.
Yeah. If you missed anything, we'll probably pick it up next week.
Pick it up next week. Any other than Star Wars? Any other games you looking forward to right now? Anything that you might think of getting other than the Origin premiere, like looking out for on Black Friday?
Ah, I don't think so, because I'm gonna spend Black Friday looking at PC parties just because I need to upgrade. I don't know how
Right.
much I'll have left in the budget for games. But
Right. I think we spoke about that last week.
yeah, but I'm still gonna keep my eyes out for like any Steam sales. Steam usually has an insane winter sale, so I'll I'll see.
Just keep. I mean, honestly, for me, I can't really say that there's any games that are like absolutely, like it's like my blood is boiling to get them. So the only thing I think I'm only thinking about getting it is Death Stranding. I've heard some things about it. I have a couple of friends who have it, and they're
I've
calling it Delivery Simulator.
I've heard I've gotten mixed reviews
Yeah,
about that. Some people like the whole delivery because I believe you are a delivery.
yeah. You are.
So some people call it obnoxiously tedious. I think is the quote I've heard.
I think that's a pretty accurate quote from what I've heard.
And some people just say it's interesting, just the concept of you know it being challenging to walk in the game
Right.
is
Because I know that there is a mechanic where you have to use the controller and like balance,
and
kind of.
balance the packages that you're
Yeah.
carrying.
Which is, I mean, that's definitely a. I mean, props to Sony for having accelerometers in their controller for mechanics like that. I don't think very many games have used that type of mechanic, but hey, there's a reason why it's a Sony exclusive, right? Or PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, but
But
I don't think I might get the Outer Worlds. We'll see.
right. Yeah, there's quite a few games out there. I mean, if I again, it's one of those things. It's like if I see it on sale, I might just cop it,
Yep.
impulse buy. But other than that, I think we're gonna call it here for this episode of Gaming Ti. Uh, Much appreciated for tuning in, if anybody's tuned in. But this week we'll also be getting a lot of stuff up and running in terms of the social medias and uh, the the podcast will start finally going up on Google. The big podcasting things. Apple. I think Apple Podcasts is gonna have like Apple Music or whatever. Uh, Google Play, Google Podcasts. Uh, those big boys are gonna get it. So yeah, we're in the beginning stages. These are all growing pains. We'll get through it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys if you're listening next week.